Yeah, me thinking. And we need to get his chair fixed because when I sat in that chair today, I went back so far I thought I was gonna flip over.
That one there, right?
Yeah.
Well, I put money in the budget line to get new chairs for us last year, so we gotta
Mike
talk to
stole his chair.
Louise.
Can I have one of those massaging ones?
We only have $2,000 for all the chairs. But these chairs are, we decided were from
Just
like
give him the quarters.
1981 or something. And yours truly was born.
Nice.
You guys ready?
Specialized.
We were.
2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. We'll give
Oh, really?
the auditing team 2 more minutes.
It's not attached to it.
Hello, baby. Mike retired.
Michael, what time is,
When is this official
Board of Education
retirement?
tomorrow?
His last day in the firehouse is gonna be Thursday, and then official retirement is gonna be April.
Okay.
But yeah, the 22nd.
Would you say it? I'm sorry, sir.
What time is the Board of Education meeting tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I don't know yet. I'm not, I gotta check into that. I think they start at 7. They always started late, but I gotta check into it. For sure.
Oh, I was looking at, was Sandra had that picture up of you. Was that really from the 80s or was that more the 90s?
Annie, from 1980, so, let's see, Michaela was in,
Oh, Michaela was in
yeah,
it?
she was born in 76, so it had to be 80 something.
Okay. Cause we did, I wonder
They're saying tomorrow.
if that could be the one I was in with my sister, if they did it
I bet you
again. I mean, it makes sense with Mr. Bince,
Mr. Vince was in it,
yeah.
Miss Griffin. Bill Berzicki, I think, was Theodore Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt.
Sort of like all the, yeah, Mrs. Brzezicki did all the dancing.
Yeah, are you glad?
Yeah, a lot easier, yeah.
Okay.
A heck of a lot easier for us.
All right.
Good for you. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
I figured.
So we've got the committee agenda here. It might change a little bit because we've got some absences today. The first thing though on it is talking about the boardwalk project, resolution 2324, 162, and 163, which have to do with building a boardwalk on the site of the old Chalmers spot. And so I asked Dan to come, Mr. Gray, to come talk to us about the project as a whole, how it's being funded, what the division is, when it started, all that good stuff, and what the items are on the agenda.
I did a little write-up for you guys.
Thank you.
Guys' request.
I love writing.
Both items are on this.
Specialized.
Go around, there you go.
I trip out of every time you go.
Thank you, sir.
Last week I disconnected.
The request tonight before you is to enter an agreement with Saratoga Associates to do the final phase of the boardwalk. Thus far, we have raised just slightly over $3 million between our DRI allocation, our Department of State LWRP funding, which we just recently were awarded, and funding through Canal Corp. The Canal Corp is about 150,000. DRI is about $500,000, and the LWRP money is going to be about $2.5 million.
We have 500,000 for Breslin.
Oh, and then another 500,000 for Breslin. So
Right.
Yeah.
So 3.5 million, my apologies. The total construction cost is gonna be between 3 and 3.5 million. Originally, it was one design because of the availability of the LWRP money and the Breslin money. We decided to split into 2 phases. Phase 1 has already been designed. Phase 2 is what we're looking to complete design work today. So once phase 2 is completed, that should take a couple months, and we should be ready to go out to bid late spring, which would put us ready to construction summer or fall of 2024.
Do you have any pictures of this?
Right behind you.
Right behind you, actually, we have some,
Hey,
there's-
technology. Ta-da.
Thank you, Dan.
So this is the landing portion?
so the
you're
landing
saying?
portion
This
is
is
the
phase
final
C.
piece.
This is phase
Okay.
2.
What side of the river?
There's gonna be a splash pad,
Outside.
and that boardwalk is gonna connect right to the pedestrian bridge,
All right, wait a minute.
Huh.
and it's being built up in the air, so you'll see over the seawall.
Oh, okay,
The gates
okay,
are
all
right
right,
here.
okay. What
Oh,
The gates are right here,
gates?
the gates that are there now.
to the pedestrian bridge. So Bridge Street is there.
Right.
Okay, that's, okay, thank you, okay.
You're all the way down by Santos's building?
Okay, we're going what?
All right.
Santos's building on,
Yeah.
We're headed west, right?
Okay.
Okay.
The creek is right at the end.
Oh, look, all right, okay. Are you doing this?
Yes.
Can you go back, please? If I can get a visual here. The boardwalk, show me the boardwalk. Okay, that's the boardwalk.
Benches,
That's the
seating
boardwalk.
area.
Other places to
That's
sit.
There's an amphitheater. Isn't there an amphitheater?
Do we have pictures of phase 1 on the attachment? I can't
Okay,
remember.
that's the boardwalk, Chris?
This
Right
is
here.
phase
This is
2.
phase 1 and phase
It
2.
goes
This,
up where you're, oh, right
Goes
by the
all the way
wall.
to the bridge.
It goes as high as the wall.
that's the flood.
Yes.
That's the-
Okay, so both.
You can,
And there'll be a
Flood
fence.
wall.
you'll be walking like at the top of
I
that
see, it
wall.
looks like there's
I
a
see this
Do you have any
break
from?
between
Where I
the
see it,
boardwalk
there
and the
has to be a
bridge.
break in
I see the stairs, I see the, now I figured it out. I see the stairs going
not
up.
this one. Yeah,
It's a really cool space.
And
Yeah.
hopefully under
Distance
that
between
boardwalk,
them.
in the middle area will be,
So that whole area.
we could do,
Rates.
Not this area. This is
Farmers
stairs.
markets,
taking
things
out.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
really
area.
That
cool.
whole area.
What's the distance between the
So
wall
over
and the
here,
boardwalk?
where the
About
entrance is to
10.
the bridge now,
Yeah, and
the
The
ramp
distance
goes to
between
the
the wall?
left,
10 feet
then it gets to the flood wall, the elevation, and then it just stays along the flood wall the whole way.
I see the, that's the bridge. All right, now I got the visual. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
So it's
No,
a,
thank you, really.
it's a big project.
This is part of our DRI, it originally was a DRI plan
right.
as a way to make that space more marketable in the whole area.
We make community space. Intention is to, connect the south side to the boardwalk or to the
And it
pedestrian
truly,
bridge.
it truly will be an extension of the pedestrian bridge, which has proven to be a really nice walking area, or just a great, and that space is gonna be much more marketable, I think.
He's an email form.
Pictures. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll find out. It's it's pretty much the whole length of it.
Right to the creek.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Can't go no further to the creek.
Oh, 500 feet.
Okay.
Any other questions about the boardwalk?
No, thank you.
So we'll put it
Thanks for
out
those
to bid and.
We're
let's
hoping to bid it
see,
this
yeah,
spring.
Construction.
We're hoping to get low bids enough so we can begin construction in this summer construction season. And start going.
Okay.
There is a resolution on there to add another 150,000.
That is because, the
Not the jump.
original plan, Saratoga Associates is the original engineer. They never designed phase 2, correct? They never spec'd it out.
Correct. They never did phase 2, and then when the LWRP money became available for us to apply for, we expanded the scope of the project in the hopes that we would get that funding, which would allow us to do.
We were
significant work.
unhappy to hear about the 150,000 additional. We thought we thought they designed the whole thing initially, but
I thought you just said you had 500,000 from it.
we did get 500,000 from Breslin.
That still brings us 150.
Yeah, we have enough money with that one. We're all in, I believe. The only thing that could shock us are construction estimates being
No,
very,
we got 150.
right, from the Canal Authority, we got
So
150.
it ain't coming out of the budget. That 150 ain't coming out of our pocket anywhere.
No,
Oh.
nothing is coming out of our.
And I understand that. Okay.
We should have enough to cover everything, including the increased engineering fee.
It's grant funding.
No problem. See, the resolution doesn't explain it, that's why I asked. Okay, no problem. Thank you.
But it took us what, four years to get this $3.5 million put in place, but the kicker was this last CFA award, which was fantastic. So,
And we got 2.5 million in the last seat.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for your hard work.
and home funds,
Yeah, somehow I thought these two were attached to each other, but still helpful to have you here to explain this.
So we also recently got awarded funding through New York State HCR, to help low to moderate income families do repairs, essential repairs to the home. It's meant to address codes issues. To give you an idea, the max income for a family of four, again, this is sliding scale depending on the size of the family. But for a family of four, the max income would be $69,950. We got awarded $500,000. 400,000 is gonna go towards construction costs, with 100 is gonna go toward the administrative / program delivery. The work is meant to address code issues. The house has to be brought fully up to code, so it's not a good fit for emergency type repairs. But it is good for people that need assistance in repairing their homes.
Do we assist them in finding reputable contractors?
We'll
to
be-
do
so
work?
We'll
Do we
have to,
contract with them ourselves? How does that work?
the way it would work is we will have to put the bid out for the contractor to do the
Okay.
work. And then the contractor will be, we'll do the agreement between the city and the contractor.
Okay, that's good.
So you
the
manage all the money?
The money
The
goes,
never goes to the homeowner?
the money never goes through the homeowner, all the money flows through HCR, through the city to whatever
Long time
different
ago,
costs.
I mean, we got a grant like this.
Mhm.
I think this is the way it works. If you were to apply for a house and it needs electrical work, then we go out to electrician.
Right.
If it needs plumbing work, it goes out to bid towards a plumber.
Right.
If it was a carpenter, it goes out to bid towards a carpenter. Am I right, Dan?
Correct,
As long as you don't make more than 69,000.
That's a
I
family
get
of
it.
four.
family four, so bigger families get more, smaller families get less, but it's a sliding scale depending on the size of the household.
Will these funds, be a lien on their property?
There will be a lien
There's
again.
restrictions, so like they have to keep the house 5 years.
They have to live in the house or they have to sell it to a low to moderate income family. But it's depending again on the level of investment.
Right.
Is
Is there a term for that? Is there like a 5-10 year term?
it goes up depending on the amount of money that gets put into the property. I think 10,000 is 5 years. 20,000 is 10 years, and then March.
This is not a loan, man.
It's not a loan, it's a grant.
It's a grant.
But they still, part of the obligation is they have to remain in the home or has to stay in somebody who else is low to moderate income has to.
Yeah,
live
they
there.
can't flip it.
They
or
can't
make
flip
a big
it.
profit
Right,
off of
right.
it. Or they would pay the money back.
Yeah,
There'd be some kind of reverter clause.
there is
Yeah.
that HCR
Yeah,
does the lien documents for us, and it's their program,
yeah,
so they'll tell us
they'll
what
handle that part of it.
what that's gonna be.
Yeah, they put a lien right on.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Habitat, we would do kind of a similar
Yeah.
thing, where we would have right of first refusal, or it would revert back to us.
So promotes and manages the applications. Us?
It's gonna be either us or we'll hire a firm to help us with it.
Okay.
There's $100,000 set aside for costs associated with the program, so
So HCR doesn't do that part. That's
all HCR does is make sure we spend the money the correct way.
Jim, was that rural homes company or group that we had a while back?
Yeah, that was,
Gino Santa Barbara and someone else?
we had, Demers Carbone.
Oh, yeah.
And River Crest Development.
Oh, Rivercrest Development, okay.
That's-
I'm thinking even further back, like 10 years, but Rivercrest, yeah, they did a house across the street
That's right.
in our, at
And they,
our old house.
they're your managers.
Okay,
You would hire them as your managers to run this if you want.
if they, yeah, or they might, they bid.
See where it
to be
says,
managers.
Kelly, $100,000 will go out to administrative and program
Yeah.
delivery expenses. That would, I believe that's what that's
That
for.
makes sense.
Yeah,
That and then the lead and asbestos
They can do
testing
it.
things, but
River Crest Development, or anybody just like that. See,
Yeah,
that's where you got those, that 100,000 for.
okay.
If we did it ourselves, could we reimburse ourselves a portion of that?
Yes.
so a couple weeks, we'll be coming back to you guys with RFPs
Yeah.
for the
You're
different
back.
services we need.
If we did what I don't mean this,
Look at his face.
Did all the construction? No, the manage the applications.
Who runs, who manages it?
We have a city carpenter now.
Yeah.
We're gonna get an
Mike
electrician.
sees
Seems to be
nails
booked
and
out a
and
couple of
hammers.
years right now.
We've got Dan here. Any other questions about any other DRI projects? We are fully funded for the community center, right? And we are working with Iburo on that. We are,
Can I ask a question there? Dan, there were plans. Now, there's a park next to Central Civico.
Mhm.
Is there plans to move that, or is that gonna stay there?
The one next to Central Civico?
Yeah.
It's the roller skating park.
Skateboard.
It's a skateboard.
It's a
The intent-
skateboard park, the preliminary plans were, they were gonna move all that back over over Route 5,
The arterial,
the arterial.
we were gonna close it down. We're
Yeah,
gonna move things back there, like this park, like the dog park, things like that.
yeah.
We're doing a feasibility study in the rec center right now. So
Was
when we
this-
get the results, we'll have more information about
Okay.
what the plans are
Yeah,
for
but it
that.
is in the plan, Jimmy. It's not gonna be,
No, the reason I'm asking is, the skateboard equipment right now is 8 years old. And I don't know how old it is before, because we bought it from the city, town of Dwaynesburg for $3,500. I mean, it's holding up like unbelievable.
yeah,
But the kids did ask about skateboard equipment down there, and I keep on telling them, well, we have plans, to build you a new skateboard park, but it's been going on 4 years, I told them this. And I would really like to get
Mhm.
that's really, a lot of play is down
Did they
there.
grow up in my cars yet?
No,
No, they never get over
One's a
their
skateboarder,
skateboard.
always a
I
skateboarder.
think, so, once we get back the results of the rec
Let's put it
center,
this way, they're 20 years old who are down there, and they don't need a car.
once we get the results back from the rec center, we'll have more guidance on what we're gonna do with the space, and then we'll work on designing out what the highway replacement would consist of, which would include the skate park and dog park. Is the,
right. And then we have Esperanza Verdi in your ward, and we are putting
Yeah.
together the final plan for that, and we're fully funded for that. And we hope to bid the rest of that out. We've got the restore, where are we with the Realtor RFP? Did you get that out or what?
I'm gonna send it to her this week.
Okay, we're gonna, the building downtown that was collapsing, we've got $1 million available in aid to restore that building. We are going to sell it, and whoever buys it will be able to use that $1 million worth of aid, so we're gonna give it to a Realtor to sell it versus us selling it directly.
Where is this from?
This is 2020, what is it, 20 what?
The downtown building,
2022, I think 2022 Main Street.
Main Street.
The building across from St. Mary's.
No,
No,
this
Main
is,
Street.
this is in downtown,
By the
the old, that old park.
That one with an
right
X on it and
Mary's
then
Church.
the,
That's, I'm not, the old
No.
one.
Further-
Main
it's
Street.
So-
It's been vacant
Actual
for,
and it's right in the middle.
That's how I go by, the old one.
I think it's 2022.
it is
Yes, 20/22 Main Street.
Between Riverside and, Riverside Pizza
Not
and,
that red brick building.
It was a condemned building that
Yes.
they
Yeah.
said had to
Yeah,
be
roof
knocked
was
down,
falling,
the
there
roof was
was-
falling.
That's all you had to say.
Yep.
There you
The
go.
red building is condemned, okay.
But we got $1 million for that we are
Really?
RFQing to an alderman, or to
An
a
alderman?
Realtor, I'm sorry.
I'm ready. Mike needs a new career.
That's good. Very good.
So we got a lot going on, but I mean, there's a lot to be administered,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, that's great.
All right.
All right, anything
Yeah.
else for Dan while he's here?
But Dan, you guys, Gina's left, so you guys are looking to hire another assistant,
We're working on it.
working on that. Would you like to, would it be helpful to the council members maybe like to do just an overall like DRI update one night? And it's where we're at with the various projects, maybe once you get your new staffer or something like that, would that be helpful with the committee? Anything we want specifically to know from Dan that we can ask him to come back with?
I'm okay with it, because I've been asking questions very long ago.
Yeah,
I mean, when Gino's there, and I've been a nuisance and asking them, but they've been very good about it.
yeah.
That's me, but very good. Ask Chris, or how you feel, Chris? Good? You're good? All right, thank
All
you.
right, thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
All right. Kelly, what else you got?
All right, well, the next one, to talk about is, the committee, the report discussion. So we had talked a little bit about, communications and presentations, part of the agenda. One of my goals was to have time for department heads to update us on what they do quarterly, what they do monthly, what season they're in, what some of their needs or their staffing, just anything, so that we're aware of the monthly operations or the things going on that we might hear about from our constituents. So I had thought that we would use this additional committee time for that. The mayor and Mr. Casali suggested using the presentation time in the agenda. And Mr. Casali said that Gloversville did it that way. So I had Stephanie print out Gloversville agenda. I was trying to kind of figure out their agenda. It's always funny to read somebody else's agenda because it really only makes sense to the people who go to the meetings all the time. Like, this makes no sense to me.
I'm glad you said that.
Right, when you look at this?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so Tony was gonna explain it to us a little bit, but I know that he had said the second meeting of the month was kind of reserved to the side of, where people made presentations. So they have like a work session and a regular session, which is, you know, clearly we would keep all our meetings the same. But there's time in there for the department heads to speak, to give updates. You know, some give shorter updates, some give longer updates, depending on what they're doing. And I was hoping Tony could show us where that might be.
Okay, yeah, he couldn't make
He
tonight's
couldn't
meeting.
make it tonight,
So,
so I still think we can discuss it a little bit. You
Right.
know, it looks like it's in the work session. They do the pledge, public hearing, and public session, and the mayor, the fire chief, the assessor, the finance commissioner, police, DPW, transit, and city attorney all speak, city clerk, and then communications from other city officials.
Right.
So they all kind of briefly go through theirs. I watched it a little bit. It's interesting to even see their chambers because all the council members sit on one side and then like all the department heads are on the other, and then the mayor's up here.
It's like college board.
It's interesting. But I thought maybe that just could be something we institute and see what, like, who we would want to hear from and what we would want to hear. And I wanted to kind of open that up for discussion and get the feedback from the departments too. Like, I know the engineering department, he oversees 3 other departments, whether he would give that report or whether he'd ask his foreman to come in, would be
No,
like,
I
up to you, you would
I
give
will
it. Yeah,
absolutely do it.
yeah.
That's
I mean, you already give it, so,
But I think it's your prerogative, the council's prerogative anytime,
yeah.
you know, to schedule, you could schedule weeks ahead if you wanted to, with department heads that you would like to come in and address those types of things. And what I believe, we have communications and presentations as Article 6, number 6 on our agenda. We could fit them in right there.
We could put that in there. I
I
think,
think I would say, we're not, and with all due respect, we're not, Mayor, you have a department head meeting when?
I do, every other week.
Every other week?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't wanna step on your toes.
No, yeah, I mean, again, this is for the prerogative, this is for the benefit of the council who can't attend those
Okay,
meetings.
so I look at it this way, and you want department heads, you got Mike, he's already here,
Mhm.
engineering. You got Chief Aggress that's here, Department of Public Safety. The Chief, when he's here, Thomas, Public Safety. So where are we lacking? Recreation Department, Rock, I know,
mhm.
water treatment plant, sewer treatment plant.
Yeah, which would be
And I
under,
think
yeah.
what
Golf
happened,
course,
golf course. And what we're having.
And
when there's a
economic development.
When there's a resolution that pertains to any one of them,
you ask them to be here.
we ask them to be here. So I'm just saying, but we don't do that already.
But we tend to need more background information, or we tend to have some questions that go beyond that. Like when, my thought was when, for example, when we were talking about those properties that wanted dispensation from some fines, you know, we were asking Chief Aggressive questions about the entire process, to understand the entire process before we could actually get to like, what should we do about this fine? So if that's something that he presented on, or if he said, well, we're sending out these letters this month about that, we would know, okay, that we might get phone calls about these certain things. We could just get updates about all the services that the clerk provides, all the services that the different permits are and those types of things. So I thought that would be helpful. You know, what season are we in with recreation? What time, you know, are they out cleaning the parks? Are they out working on the bridge? What's the plan for the events? How is the marketing going? Do they need help with that? What can we do? Kind of just to be more team effort on that and just be more aware of the day-to-day operations of the city so that we can help and assist, instead of just jumping in when there's like something's on fire.
Again, I think it's up to the council. You guys decide, you know, there's a spot for it in the agenda. You guys decide if you want to hear from a particular department head, if you want to create a routine where where department heads come in and give a report based upon the criteria you give them, it's fine. I mean, and it just, I think it's got to be an agreement amongst the council. And we can slot those in, and I think it would not be a problem at all.
Yeah, I think it would just create space for some more collaboration, some more information sharing, more information that the public can access too. Like it's great that we can ask any question we want of a department head at any time, but that's not true of our constituents. They can't do that. They either come through us. Also that we can all share the same information, that we're all getting the same information. And I don't think they would all need to come monthly. Like we talk about golf, it's not golf season, and we're also not paying the golf contractor right now. So we're not gonna pay him to come into a meeting. It would be during, you know, and maybe it would just be a couple updates, but when they come to us with the rates and want us to approve the rates on the golf course, we're gonna wanna know, what were the memberships? What were the fees? How did this work? How did that work? And we voted for a huge change in the fee schedule. So I'd like to know in the beginning and the middle and the end, what those numbers look like, what that marketing has been, what the plans are, so that we are actually like tracking that ourselves along the way. And I know that the mayor's tracking it as well, but we've all been voted in to track it too. So that's what I'm looking for out of this. And we've got new members, we've got experienced members. I mean, I've been working in City Hall. I worked in City Hall for 8 years and I thought I knew a lot, and there's a lot I still didn't know. And I think just having that open door would be great.
Okay.
What are anyone else want to?
Look, I'm an information person. I soak it up like crazy, so I'm good with having people come in and expressing needs and talking about filling us in on things that they need help with. It gives us an opportunity to offer help too.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the interest of transparency couldn't hurt to have the public know who the department heads are as well.
Okay. We're gonna have to call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock.
No, until 6:30.
Oh, we start at 6:30?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We got a lot of time.
I know, because I extended this because I thought that's when we would do it. But
Okay.
so we may change, you know, the meeting time back. But
No
for
problem.
right now, I wanted to kind of see that.
Okay.
Do you have any?
I just
Thing
don't
you
want to
wanna add,
split the
Irene?
starting time.
No? You good with it?
Okay.
Mayor, when you say that you meet with the department heads every other week, when is that?
It's a Monday morning,
Monday's 10 a.m.
10 a.m. And you're welcome to sit in,
Thank you.
as long as you don't say anything.
That's awesome.
But there can be no more than two
Sound like
of
my
us
next
there.
That's right.
So that's another challenge too. Like
Three.
even if we
Three.
all had
Three.
three? Oh, three.
Three's a quorum.
You can't have three.
So we can't have three. We
Can't
can't.
have
Three.
Right, so no more than two.
Right,
Yeah.
but again,
So even if we all had Monday at 10 a.m. off, we couldn't all go to the meeting.
right, exactly. I just think, again, it's something that the council needs to agree on. I think it's a good exercise if you know, everybody's prepared to not just to ask questions. We get into a routine, it's good. But that's getting into that routine is the key. And again, I think that there's an opening in the agenda. And I think that would be a valuable use of that opening. And it just requires the council to be on the same page.
Would it be helpful to all of you if I came up with a
You come up with
draft,
suggestions
and then
and
bring
send
it
them
right
out to the
back,
council
yeah.
members and say, what do you think? And you guys could say yes, no, or whatever, and Kelly would have
give
her,
a couple highlights is what
You
we're
know.
looking for.
or you may say, you know, let's have somebody come in this week and send it to Kelly, and she could.
Yeah, I think it also makes like coming in front of the council less intimidating. If the only time you're ever coming is when you're asking for money or something
Budget time.
crazy happened, you get like, people get really stressed about coming in front of us. Like, who knows what we might ask them? Well, now they'll know what we're gonna ask them.
We can always just do like an informal, just have them say, tell us, what is your department doing?
What your-
You know,
yeah.
What are your deadlines? How can we assist you?
Yeah, short-term,
How can-
long-term.
Give us information that we can relate to, or people in our wards that ask us these questions and we wanna give them intelligent answers.
Mhm.
You know, what is some of the stuff people call you about and interrupt
Right.
your day with,
Yeah,
where we can address it. If they're calling us or they see us, we can talk to them and tell them, hey, this and this is going on.
right. What do you wish people knew about what you did?
What your department does.
Yeah, I mean, I remember saying to Rob once, like, he was talking about all the parks and all the work that they had done to make these parks ready for this spring, and I'm like, I wish everybody knew that's what you were doing. Like, it's more of, let's shine a light on all of the great work that's happening, as opposed to like some kind of, you know.
I mean, there's, with recreation, especially with parks, there's things that, recreation is short-staffed, so somehow we have to get the word out to the children to tell them, listen, this is happening to a park in your area. We need everyone to take care of it
Right,
and do something park by park with the kids.
I would love
And
that.
just say, okay, you know, you guys come, you're from the neighborhood, you're in here all the time. We want to keep it clean. We want, take care of the equipment. It's your park.
Yeah,
So, make them responsible for
park
the
captain
play area.
or
Yeah,
something,
something
yeah.
like that. So, recreation is short-staffed as it is, but even if we show up as council people in the parks for certain events where the kids know, okay, she represents our area, he represents our area, and just interact and say, hey, reinforce it. You gotta take care of the park. Otherwise, you're not gonna have a nice park.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of money in the parks.
A lot this year.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. And I think hopefully this would give us time to share these ideas, like you
Yeah.
had that idea, instead of you having to like call all of us, and be like, I have this idea for parks. Sometimes it feels like when you have an idea, you like throw it out in an email or you mention it to a couple people, and I just haven't found space sometimes to like say, to really delve into it with you guys as teammates,
Right.
because it,
We can
feels a little
build
rushed.
things in with the activities that are happening in
Yeah.
the city. Build it in with what recreation is already doing. And
Right, if we
yeah,
had them here with us, we could
Yeah.
talk that through.
just talk about it, brainstorm really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so kind of reports and brainstorming. I like it. Okay, I'll put together a different schedule than the other weird schedule I first created. And then we'll kind of go from there. And also we have some input from Tony as well. But I caught a little bit of it today. The clerk, I don't think they have a recreation in Gloversville, so the clerk's like, well, I don't have much to update, but we do have this new like events flyer and everybody gets it when they come in, and she passed that out to everybody and then they asked some questions and then they moved on. So sometimes it's just a quick thing. And some people will go more in depth, so. All right, so we got that. Let's review the agenda. And then I think we have to do, Super Bowl winner.
Who is it, Kelly? Kelly won.
I have no idea.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, go ahead, Kel.
I didn't try to win, I tried to lose. All right, minutes from last meeting, anybody? Thank you, Stephanie, for putting those together. All right, resolution authorizing agreement with New York State Office of Community Renewal. Mr. Gray shared with us all about that. Any further questions?
When is the application, what are the deadlines to, sign up for this? Is there a pending list?
For the home funds,
Yeah.
there, Nick Sabowski has a list.
Okay.
We'll have to go back through and look at, it's a couple years old at this point. Before we open up any lists, we're gonna be making a public announcement. There's still a number of steps we have to get through.
Right.
Before we start taking applications.
Does this go under urban renewal? Like, is this an urban renewal program, like under Nick, or is it under you, or?
Nick is, my understanding is he's kind of stepping back.
Nick wants to step away from urban renewal. This is gonna replace urban renewal.
Okay, gotcha. That's like good, to know.
Everybody knows Nick, so whoever is going to be responsible is gonna have to be introduced to the public.
Oh, yeah, he'll be around.
This is the person that's gonna be handling it, because he's gonna get overwhelmed. A lot of people are interested in this project.
Mhm.
Okay, so that makes, so a lot of our work, I mean, Nick was already a contractor, but just had an office in City Hall.
Yeah, he's got a couple of hats. He was
Yeah.
a grant director, and he also was a grant
A
writer.
grant
for the city
writer
on a
in many
case-by-case
cities,
basis.
yeah. So in that case, we're not like looking to replace a staffer, we're gonna like just replace a contractor
Yeah,
with this, pretty much. Okay.
This particular one will probably be putting, procuring somebody to contract the service to do help the administrative piece,
Yeah, okay.
hopefully.
So will they have space here in City Hall?
they need space here in City Hall.
I would,
Probably not necessarily.
how would they meet with the people though? Because a lot of people used to come here to Nick and talk to him.
We could find office space to go through paperwork people.
They might have office space too.
We do have office space available.
I mean, somebody wants to sign up for the grant, they have to fill out the paperwork. I'm sure we can find space for an hour or two for them to work through it with them if we need to.
Then I know, Nick would have a packet for them, they would have to fill it out, and then they would come back to City Hall. So if whoever is doing this is not gonna be in City Hall, we gotta make sure they're in the Amsterdam somewhere,
Mhm.
where they can just reach out to them.
And then they're gonna probably make some mistakes that will need to be corrected.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You're gonna draw up sort of a duties and responsibilities of what we're looking for in terms of that service?
Yeah, yep,
Okay, fine.
and that's something we could have on the table downstairs and everything for people to pick up.
most of the packet information that Nick
Online.
has is through HCR.
Right.
So they have all the paperwork that we would need.
but they have to be, I don't think they would get the packet unless they're on the list. Like they're being picked off the list.
The first step is they're gonna express interest in the program and then mention that and then we have to make sure they're financially qualified.
Right. You have to do a call.
Usually, a lot of times you'll ask what their family household income is, they'll give it to you, and then once you've established that they're within the range, then you'll provide them the paperwork to complete. And obviously, they need to be aware that there's gonna be a lien on their house.
Right.
Some people
Yeah,
don't
someone has to
appreciate
sit with
that.
them and talk to them. Oh, well, that's the way it goes, you want the money. Okay, just as long as, there's a space where they can come.
All right. Next one, is the resolution authorizing the agreement with Saratoga Associates, which we discussed as well, to increase, to do that last phase of design.
Okay,
Next, Alderman Marticello, we are bidding for those golf carts.
Yes, last week we discussed how many bid, how many we're gonna buy at Biggest Point, and now everything's been settled with Law Pro, he made all the records, he's made everything that clear what we want, what we're looking for, so now he's ready to go out for bid.
So I shared with everybody the email the golf pro had sent with the data about the golf carts and what they needed, because he sent it to me, and then of course we talked about it at the meeting, but I just wanted everyone to have access to that, and I think that's just kind of the perfect, that, and then what Dan did tonight too, is kind of that perfect kind of report for us to really look at,
Just
so
saying, okay.
I appreciated that.
Yeah, the golf carts that we're releasing right now, and I told you before, they're 7 years old.
Yeah,
And I went back and I talked to the pro, just to get you answers. Scott Warner told me they're 7 years old. then they're not even worth, they're not worth it. It only gonna cost you more for repair than it would be anything else. So it's better off, we just end the lease, get this 20, and then hopefully after this year, we'll be able to buy 20 more. But the most important thing is, we can do a study.
Right,
How many do we really need? Do we need 20, do we need 30, do we need 15? And that way, I have a good idea on the numbers.
right. And that'd be an update
Okay.
that he could give us throughout the season.
Okay.
Excellent. Alderman Carpenter, the next resolution is regarding a new timekeeping management service.
I'm gonna let Louise explain this a little
Yes.
bit better.
Oh,
Because there was an email that I didn't get because you asked a bunch of questions. And I could not find that email anywhere. I may have hit, I may have deleted it by accident. And there was some cost, there was some analysis between like, is this
Oh,
gonna,
I will, but, yeah.
how much money is this gonna save us? There was
Louise
a
is gonna
5-year
address
plan.
this for us.
So we're not looking to purchase anything new that we don't already have. We're really just replacing existing time clocks with something much more cost effective. Because right now we have, our time clocks and our, timekeeping software is, provided to us by Chronos, and we're paying for a lot more than we're utilizing. And I asked them, this will work in conjunction with our new accounting software. And I reached out to them and asked them if they would lower their price to offset the features that we're not utilizing, and they couldn't. So Edmunds, the name of the new software, they gave me other vendors to reach out to. And this vendor we have to provide this time clocks, we have to make that investment initially. But then we are just paying monthly for just what we, are using them for. So it's like half the cost, monthly going forward, by switching.
And you said it does work with our new software.
It will, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you still
They
gonna
sent
do
me-
fingerprinting?
It is fingerprinting.
Is it still the fingerprint
Yeah.
one? I wasn't sure. I remember when we switched to this.
Yeah.
It was a big day at City Hall.
So it's going to upload the data to the new software.
Exactly. This is will generate a file. Right now it's done manually. Like we export a file, an ASCII file, and then import it into our current system. But these are going to be set up to, they're gonna be integrated. So this will all be happening automatically now.
But who uses time cards and punching in remains the same?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who uses time cards? You have time cards? Someone uses time cards?
Time card, not time card.
Well,
time
no, but
clock.
I mean, that's kind of the old way of saying
Oh,
it.
punches in,
Who
punches
punches in
in,
or punch
punches
out? Like, the fire department doesn't punch in and punch out, like, but,
Yeah.
no, they don't.
I think it's like DPW.
Yeah,
Hall.
yeah, City Hall.
It's not the entire workforce.
Yeah, that's what I just was wondering, if that would change any employees. Great. And then the audit, you guys were whispering over there a lot.
It's fine.
All good? Okay. And we don't have any consents tonight?
No.
Excellent. All right. We can congratulate Alderman Holliday on rounding out his team with a girl born on Valentine's Day. So are they 2 and 2 or 2 and, 3 boys or 2 boys? I can't remember, it was running around at the city hall. 3 boys, right? 3 boys and 1 girl. So now it's 2 girls, 2 boys. So we'll probably see him at the next meeting. But her name is Riley Quinn.
Congratulations, Alderman.
Yeah, so congratulations to that family. We also had the Super Bowl.
Here we go.
Which somebody could have taken the cup from me because I forgot about it until like the night of the Super Bowl. And then my fabulous mother made an awesome box for me to put on the porch and during the halftime show. And I just put a couple social media posts.
Ta-da.
And it's only 5 neighbors that are helping me out with this. So you guys, could have taken the cup, but I don't know the results. I'll let the clerk announce the results.
The result is the first ward has won, 81 cans of soup.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Congratulations.
Would you like us to take a picture for the paper?
I don't want to
Wouldn't wanna what?
Wouldn't wanna like,
Walk
take your
into
lock
some
on the
of
front
those
page of the
in
recorder. If that
Congratulations.
belongs to Chris Carpenter. Thank you. I made Harvey and his little neighbor friend count all the cans, and they were very unenthusiastic about it. All right, well, thank you. Next year, get ready. Or, any other friendly competitions you wanna come up with. It's a good way to get to know our awards. Maybe a cleanup competition next.
Dance
Who
off.
knows? Dance off. I'm gonna win that too. Trying to pick something I'm not good at. Singing. We can pick singing.
Why don't you just have a knit off?
Oh, she went out.
Okay,
Oh,
anything else, Cal?
I'm just looking at this bitterness over here.
No, none.
Mike,
No, I
do you have a report on the engineer?
Yeah, we can start the engineer's report.
Sure. Everybody has my report. Before I dive into this quickly, I just wanted to, I think, everybody here knows I'm certainly not afraid to talk, and I believe in keeping the council fully informed, so I embrace all of this. I think it is worth pointing out on my part that although it may, the city engineer's operations over the last 5 years may seem to have morphed a little bit compared to what they were historically. Although, as Kelly pointed out, the engineer has the responsibility for DPW, as well as supporting the water treatment plant and the wastewater plant. And I think it's important to mention, because not everybody really can see the distinction. You've got Bob Yeagle at the wastewater plant, you've got Randy Gardner at the water treatment plant. I leave the operations, the daily operations to them. They're the ones who manage the staff and know the mechanics of that plant inside and out, and they're highly competent. Where I come in, and which is quite often in the last few years, given the amount of grant money and low interest loans and all the funding that this city's been fortunate to receive, is it's generated millions upon millions of dollars of capital projects. That's the purview of my office, and by charter, we're supposed to do it. So I support and take the lead on the capital projects, whether it's water, wastewater, or any public works kind of project. And having said that, I'm gonna go out on the limb and announce that you've heard me talk endlessly about our wastewater treatment project and all the funding acronyms that go along for all the different grant streams. There's WIA, there's the state revolving fund, there's the intended use plan, which is IUP. You may remember also that over the past couple, 2 or 3 years, have spoken about WQIP, Water Quality Improvement Program Grant. Yet another acronym. You may also remember that we were shot down twice on that. Well, apparently third time's a charm. We've been fortunate. We've just received notice the end of last week that the city's been awarded a WQIP grant in the amount of up to $10 million for that project. Now, really what that, so we're talking about a $17.5 million project as it's currently estimated. What that ultimately means is, everything's got its share. What that $10 million will likely mean is that we would likely need a considerably less money long-term in a borrowing from the state revolving fund to fund this project. It's not over and above the $17 million that we currently have lined up in funding through the clean water SRF money. And let's not forget the BIL money, which is tremendous. There's another acronym. I see the chief over there nodding in agreement.
Don't forget CDBG and Northern
Well,
Border.
that's not in on this one. And Northern Borders is another one. We're always got our ears out for them, but they're not in on this project. Nevertheless, what we're gonna be doing in the coming weeks in the short term is taking a look at what this means in terms of restructuring how our financial package looks, it's all to the positive. It's not, there's
It's gonna
nothing
be
negative
very
about it.
minimal when we're done, right? I mean, there's no question about it.
Exactly. What it ultimately means is that there may be even less debt or no debt
We
coming
may
out of
make
this
some money,
project.
right, Mike?
Pardon?
We may make some money on this sucker.
You know what? We'll take it.
So something will go around, we'll
So,
need it.
no, it really is a haul. I mean, we start from where we started till now, right? I
It
mean,
really is.
it's
I mean,
all-
it's.
That's the only way you can
The
describe it.
package that, I mean, but it's also taken 3 years to bring the thing together, you know, so it wasn't just by guess and by gosh.
No.
Yeah, I also, everyone knows, we've got, it's water break season, kind of like baseball season and rabbit season and everything else, it's water break season. And if you see water running when it's 5 degrees, definitely call somebody. That's probably a water, especially if it's in the street. We've had a number of them, we're dealing with them every day right now.
That one that Mike wrote about the other day, that was really fast.
That was very
You got
fast. Yeah, they were on that one. They would have been on it faster. if
Oh, you
Matt
mean
and I
the,
hadn't showed up.
The one in Chapel?
Yes.
Well, the interesting story about that is our intrepid water foreman, Tony Schechten, he deserves a little credit for that. The reason we had no boil water notice on that, if anybody was paying attention at all, was because he repaired it under pressure when it was 12 degrees or whatever it was, which means that he got extremely wet, to put a clamp on that. But he did it. I think he got in the truck really quick after that, but he stopped the leak without having to shut down anybody. But yeah, if you see water running and it's 10 degrees outside, usually this time of year in the street, that's a water break, you know, let us know.
Just call the dispatch number,
Pardon?
just call the dispatch number and.
If it's after hours, yeah. Our raw water transmission line project's going very well. I expect right now the target date for that to be substantially complete is the middle of March. It's amazing the progress they've made.
Are you getting before and afters on that? Are you getting before and after pictures of?
Oh, yeah, we've got pre and post photos, and I'll be able to share them.
Very good.
And obviously, I've also spoken way too much about that as well, but, it's much needed.
Okay.
Um,
You skipped over that filter bed.
yeah, that's, well,
You're already at design, so when you demolished the thing, right?
it's been out of service, the old one is out.
Right.
We're working with a vendor to,
Design a new
I've
filter.
got and basically I'm gonna have to just supply some design calcs to show that it's an equivalent
Okay.
design, that it'll pass similar flows to the previous model. It certainly will, I've already run them, but we've got to get, Department of Health's approval before that's done.
Okay.
I also want to mention the road program. Been talking about that for the last few meetings. And again, everything that I've said before is accurate, but I want to draw your attention to the third page of my report briefly, and if you don't look at it now, look at it later. What you'll see is we've got a base bid, and we've got a number of alternates. Again, if anybody, and I'm sure there's endless ideas or places that you can come up with that need to be resurfaced, please share them with me. The sooner the better. I would really, I'm really hoping that I can bring a resolution to you folks to advertise for bids. Ideally, I would like to do it by the first meeting in March. But, which was March 7th this year. If we had to go to the 21st, that's probably as late as I would want to go. And again, remember, there's a lot of lead time, to go from advertising to actually having a contractor in the field. It's a minimum of 2 months. From the time we advertise to taking bids to getting everything in place. I really like to have the contractor working when the plant's open in early May. So again, take a look at the draft, and this is just a draft that's on the back. I welcome all input. And I would like to really finalize that here in the next couple of weeks, so I appreciate any help you folks can give me.
I got a call about Grove Street,
George Street.
Grove,
Mhm.
Grove. When is that gonna get done?
The hill.
What about
George
Grove Street?
Grove,
Grove. Grove?
Grove?
That needs to be,
Isn't that by the police station? Like,
that, no, that's the extension,
crossover?
that's the extension of High Street, Grove Street, runs in front of the old St. Michael's Church.
Oh. Okay.
You can put that on there too. That's a combination of Fifth Ward, Fourth Ward.
I'll put it on.
All right, Mike? Grove Street. Thank you, Irene. Thank you.
Like also that driveway into Shuttleworth?
Yeah, and I do, that, which is, technically, that is, I had planned on doing that as an alternate. I don't have that on here. I plan on, really, in terms of our highway and our street inventory, that driveway all the way through Shuttleworth is Crescent Ave.
Right,
Even, so it's eligible for chips.
right.
The whole thing needs it, to be honest
Oh,
with you.
I know, but we gotta do whatever we can afford to do, and it is in real tough shape, and it's.
I mean,
it's-
right now, we've got from, Locust to Clisby, but
Yeah,
I would really like to, if our funding comes in, I would really like to.
Well, it's
consider
gonna be
doing-
based on funding, definitely.
It's all based on
That one
funding.
is a.
Well,
it's
and
a-
we were waiting because of the bridge project.
Right.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna pay for
Right,
project,
yeah,
I will
yeah.
stop short of the project limits on that.
Right, but, and I think the foundation, the Shuttleworth Foundation did the parking lot
Right,
right next to it.
right, right, and the only
Will
thing
all be
left is that
nice, is that
freaking,
one
and it's like,
road,
it's
yeah,
terrible.
so, yeah.
and a
I
lot of
mean, if
people
we don't do
use
it
that.
this year, when the bridge project is done by the end of 2025, we certainly should plan on paving
Absolutely.
the rest of Crescent all the way through the park.
But that's what I've been telling people the holdup is, well, we have a bridge, we gotta get the bridge done, and then it'll continue.
And I would love to wait.
$1.9 million bridge.
Yes, that is big.
Anything else here, Michael?
Kreisel Terrace, can we talk about that for a quick second?
Sure.
You and I had talked about abandoning the street and cleaning that nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly an option. You're talking about that last little piece of Kreisel that drops, where it drops down to
Yeah.
Roman. There's nobody that lives along it. So the conversation that, Alderman Carpenter and I had was that, no one's there. Right now, it's blocked, it's barricaded. And it's kind of become a catch-all, unfortunately, for trash. And we mentioned the idea of discontinuing its use, and so the only point that I made, and I want to bring this up again with our attorney, is that there's a formal process to go through to formally abandon a street in highway law. I'm not an attorney, but I don't even play one on the weekends. He can speak to the specific procedure, but it involves a public hearing, public notice. I don't know that anyone would complain about it, but it's something to consider if the council was open to it.
It's
Then I would
so
say-
steep. I mean, who wants to drive up and down that hill?
It's pretty
Nobody
steep.
drives up and down it. It's bad.
I know,
Hold it on.
yeah, I'm gonna kind of put that, yeah.
Stand for pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alderwoman Quistamars,
Here.
Alderman Holliday, Alderwoman Collins, Alderman Carpenter.
Here.
Alderman Marcelo.
Here. Motion to adopt the agenda.
I will make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Alderwoman Quistamars,
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderman Marcelo.
And we don't have any proclamations. Mike, if you wanna continue what you were talking about with Chris, now's the time, we can do it.
Just to summarize it, there's, I think everybody would probably support abandoning that last little steep piece of Kreisel Terrace. I
Just
would
making it
just
look
suggest that
better.
we go through the formal abandonment procedure in highway law. And so that, which then the ownership on either side generally reverts back to the center line of the road or something like that. And then it's off our inventory and we deducted the footage, the mileage of that little piece.
I believe there's only one house in the section to be closed, and we already own it, and it's about the size of a camp in the middle of the hill.
Yeah, it's that one,
Well-
if you're looking downhill, it's on the right.
Yeah.
So, yes, I agree with you. I shudder at the thought of plowing that. I don't know how they used to, but,
They close it every
It
winter.
turned into a snow
It's
hill.
closed permanently.
But it's-
Yeah,
They used to close it every winter, and then open it back up in the spring. They haven't opened it in the
I
last.
just slid down it once. It wasn't-
Oh, I used to go sledding as a kid, dude.
yeah.
Saw somebody hit their face on a car parked on the other side of the street.
I was in a brand new truck.
So I'd like
Right, but it's
to
still a process.
propose that at the next meeting, we'll talk about it, maybe even do we'll do this in the committee section. And then if there's any public safety concerns or, home ownership concerns, and we'll have, Mr. Casali here as well, and we kind of just all bring that to the table and then, go forward with the resolution, but we can talk about what all that would encompass and then, hear from the various departments, because, I'm sure the police chief wants to weigh in on closing roads. Normally, if we close a road, we should tell him, stuff like that, and fire routes, stuff like that. So
Okay,
we'll do that at the next committee meeting.
a quick update on the golf course. We did receive one proposal. We are expecting another this week. Once we get that, we're going to sit down, we're going to invite the golf commission in, the pro, and we'll go through those things, and then we'll make a recommendation to the council, right, Michael?
Proposal of
For
the
design.
design proposal,
Yeah.
not a
And
concession.
design, we've given them a $1 million budget, and to come back to us with a proposal that will fit within that budget and provide all the things we asked for. So we received one, we are waiting for the second one. Once we receive the second one, we'll come back to the council. It'll probably be done in a special meeting, because I would like to get it started as quickly as we possibly can. I also, tomorrow night, I am going with a bunch of our directors to the school board meeting. I wanted you guys to know that. We are going to make a presentation on a single-family housing development. We're a partnership with the school district and the county, hopefully, to put together a package which would attract a developer to come into the city of Amsterdam and build a single-family home development within the city. The reasons why it hasn't been done yet, there's a million of them. You hear, where are they gonna build them? Well, we found the land, the school district owns it. What about taxes? Well, who's gonna buy that kind of home in Amsterdam? Well, just outside of Amsterdam, they've sold 50 of them in the town of Florida. Well, those are lower taxes. You take their taxes, put them against our taxes with their water fees and garbage fees, we're right there at almost the same level. We also have the ability, because we've got the city and the county and the school district working together, to get special legislation to do a tax incentive program for 5 years. We've written letters to 4 developers in Saratoga. So far, 2 have come back to us and said they're interested. We've also talked to Del Senor, who does our road paving, who also has a home development company. He's interested. There's no reason why we can't do this in Amsterdam. Absolutely none. And it just needs an impetus. It needs somebody to lead it and say, look, what's the obstacle we can get around that? And that's what we're gonna start off tomorrow. Mike in the engineering department has been working, putting together numbers for us. We've got, I think, everything we need to get there tomorrow and get them fully on board. So that's gonna take place tomorrow at their board meeting.
Their meeting is absolutely at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock? Okay, good thing. I would've came up an hour late, right?
And we can watch that
6
online,
o'clock.
right?
Hmm?
Is that online?
I think they have on YouTube.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
maybe
go.
I'll tune in.
That's all I have. Anybody else for communication presentation? Oh, yeah, we're gonna do the controls report in a second. Now it's public participation. I know Mr. Gamul has been patiently waiting.
I'm surprised I'm the only one here.
And it's amazing, David.
I know who's throwing garbage down Chrysler Terrace,
Okay,
okay? I'm not gonna tell you, but
all right.
in private, but I know. And it should be closed, my opinion.
I can't hear you, David.
It should be closed, in my opinion.
Yep, okay.
The reason I'm really here is in the newspaper, the recorder, there's been 3 or 4 letters to the editor knocking Elise Stefanik. She's running for re-election. I never saw her. Has she been here? I mean, it's not a Republican or Democrat thing, it's just that I wouldn't vote for her. In my opinion, you know? And she thought she was gonna be Trump's vice presidential candidate, but now she flip-flopped. She don't want nothing to do with him. And as far as the water goes, I still get reports in the mail saying there's still chemicals in it. And no matter what anybody says, I wouldn't drink Amsterdam water.
Okay.
I get my own spring water. And if people do that here, and it doesn't affect them, that's fine. That's about it.
Okay,
It's about 5 minutes, right?
thank you, David.
Thank you.
And we are now into the controller's report. Louise?
Okay, I passed around a 7-month budget summary, if you want to have a copy. Nothing unusual to report, spending is moving at a very reasonable pace. And I updated the contingency balances. I think,
And the no sales tax still hasn't come in, correct?
I haven't seen it, I haven't seen it.
Newest quarter?
No.
Any questions on the controller's report?
Please.
Go ahead,
The
James.
sanitation fund. The revenues are at 99%.
So this is something I'm definitely gonna change starting next year after we get our new software. But right now, any of the fees that we charge get pulled into this report. The way I pull it at it's at the amount that we expect to receive, not what we actually collect. So it's what we've actually billed. So
All right.
I
One of the
apologize,
reasons,
it does
James,
throw the
one of
revenue.
the reasons we historically got into trouble in the city is we billed to taxes as revenue before they were even collected.
Before they're even collected.
Yeah, so we count it as money.
That's,
And we keep counting it as money, and we didn't have the money. So, I mean, that's how we get in trouble. So that Louise is gonna adjust it so that we
I'm glad
see
we pointed
cash.
that out, so now we can understand that. Thank you.
And I just keep asking how much money do we have in the bank every month? That's what I ask. Because that's the number. I look
They're
at.
kind of scary, that's why.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What's the best?
Okay.
Anything else for Louise? We don't have any old business, so we can get on to the resolutions.
Resolution 2324-161, resolution adopting the minutes of the last common council meeting by Alderwoman Quist-Tamars.
So moved. For discussion. You call the roll.
Alderwoman Quist-Tamars.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
All right.
Resolution 2324-162, resolution authorizing agreement with New York State Office of Community Renewal by Alderwoman Quist-Tamars. Whereas on December 14th, 2023, the Housing Trust Fund Corporation and the Office of Community Renewal awarded the City of Amsterdam $500,000 of New York State Home Local Program funding. And whereas funding is to be utilized to assist low to moderate income homeowners with necessary home repairs. Whereas to access this funding, the City of Amsterdam needs to execute the attached contract with New York State Office of Community Renewal. Whereas the attached agreement, having been reviewed by Corporation Council, is hereby resolved, the execution of attached agreement is hereby authorized.
So move for discussion.
Any questions?
Thanks for putting this through. This is, gonna be a great project for people here in the city. You may call the roll.
Alderwoman Quist-Tamars.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
And Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Resolution 2324-163, resolution authorizing agreement with Saratoga Associates by Alderwoman Quist-Tamars. Whereas the City of Amsterdam has previously awarded funding for the Southside Public Realm Improvements Project through the Mohawk Valley Region 2018 Downtown Revitalization Initiative. Whereas on May 4th, 2021, through Resolution 2021-188, the City of Amsterdam Common Council awarded Saratoga Associates a contract for $72,360 to complete design work for the Southside Public Realm Improvement Project. Whereas the State of New York Local Waterfront Revitalization Program awarded the city $2.5 million, and the New York State Canal Corporation awarded the City of Amsterdam $150,000 in additional funding for the Southside Public Realm Improvement Project. Whereas to complete the additional work for the boardwalk, Saratoga Associates needs an additional $159,108 to complete the project. Whereas a copy of the subject contract being attached here to, it is hereby resolved that the execution of the attached agreement is hereby authorized.
So move for discussion?
So the 159, we don't need that.
Say
Do
it
we
again.
have the funding for the 159?
Yes.
Yes, we do
Yes, we have funding for everything.
Okay,
But we just had to pay them more to complete
okay,
the phase.
all right.
Saratoga National, that's what Saratoga needs, is that
Yeah,
159, and we have that money.
Any other questions? All right, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Resolution 2324-164, resolution authorizing bids for 20 golf carts by Alderman Marticello. Whereas the City of Amsterdam Municipal Golf Course has a fleet of 40 leased golf carts and the lease term expires October 2024. Whereas the number of golf carts, 40, is not enough to meet the demand for tee times during the season and golfers are often turned away. Whereas the city has been renting additional golf carts as needed for tournaments, daily rental rates are considerably higher than lease rates. Whereas the city would like to purchase 20 golf carts prior to the start of 2024 summer golf season. And whereas the city will review financial benefit of having the additional golf carts before making any replacement decisions pertaining to the 40 leased carts. Now therefore be it resolved that the city clerk is authorized to advertise publicly for bids for 20 new golf carts.
So moved, discussion. Call the roll.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Resolution 2324-165, resolution authorizing contract Latham Time Corporation for timekeeping management services by Alderman Carpenter. Whereas, by way of background, the city currently engages timekeeping management services through a third-party vendor at a monthly cost and amount of $1,075, with the city not having a need to utilize a number of features that are a part of the pricing, resulting in said $1,075 monthly cost to the city. Whereas, it having been recommended by the city controller that the city engage Latham Time Corporation to provide said services for the city effective April 1st, 2024. Whereas, a copy of the contract and pricing estimates being attached hereto. Whereas, the startup cost for equipment to the city being in the amount of $4,400 and the monthly service fee being in the amount of $573 based upon a month-to-month contract. Now therefore be it resolved that the attached agreement with Latham Time Corporation is hereby authorized.
So move. Open for discussion. Call the roll.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
And Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Resolution 2324-166, resolution approving the audit by Alderwoman Collins. Resolved.
So moved. Open for discussion. Call the roll.
Alderwoman Collins.
Aye.
Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
And Alderwoman Quistamars.
Aye.
I do want to bring one other topic up for discussion. I had a conversation with Pat Russo today. Pat Russo is the only elected member of our Citizens Review Board.
No, he's not.
Huh?
No, he's not.
No, I know he's not. I meant the other one wasn't allowed to sit and serve.
Well, Rick was too.
Rick was elected as well.
And that was something, that Kelly and I have been talking
Well,
about.
it's, to me, what we're gonna talk about, and Stephanie and I and Attorney Casali have sat down and talked about it, and I called Pat Russo because he was elected. I did not know Mr. Rako was elected, which is one of the problems. It's almost a farce. They haven't met since I can remember. I don't know, it's in our charter. And the biggest challenge, we have an ethics board, and when the New York State Controller's Office did their audit of City Hall, one of the things he asked me was who was on our ethics board, and I said, I've never appointed anyone. And he said, why not? It's in your charter, you should have an ethics board, they should handle all ethics complaints against public officials in your city. So my conversation with Pat Russo was, would you serve as the chairman of our ethics board and appoint people to our ethics board? We have a procedure in place in the charter for addressing issues with the ethics board. We have a citizens review board that hasn't met since I don't think it's ever met in the last, I don't know how many years. So what the biggest issue is we have to pay, right, Steph, the county, to have the election for citizens review board when we don't have a city election happening. We have to pay for that. And it makes no sense. So Tony Casali is going to bring forth a proposal to, replace, well, I should say replace, end the Citizens Review Board and replace it with the Ethics Board. And the Ethics Board will have the members who are on the Citizens Review Board put on the Ethics Board. It's the same function, gets rid of the election process for a position that hasn't met in 20 years. So I really think we can clean it up. So that'll happen next meeting, okay?
So
we
the
have some
current
discussion?
elected officials that were elected. are
Anyone who's
going
on
to
it
be-
now would be put onto the Ethics Board
As of the last election.
as of the last election. And I didn't even know what's his name was on it.
I had a long discussion. with
Ken
the Board of
Major was a
Education.
write-in a couple of years ago too.
I had a long discussion with the Board of Elections about this, and they, they said that it was up to the city council to notify the Citizens Review Board of who was elected, and, that the ball was dropped, and because they don't have meetings, nobody asked any questions, and nobody went to these people that were elected and said, hey, by the way, you were elected. If it's merging with that, I think that's a very good idea. I can't see the negative.
Yeah, definitely, we need to have something in place to investigate complaints against public officials and employees in our city. And we do with the Ethics Board. I think that if we have that board and they function, if they meet, the point is, they don't meet unless they get a complaint. We haven't had a
Well, do
complaint.
they not meet because we don't facilitate anything with them to give them advice on
What are they
when
gonna
they should
do?
meet and everything?
Right, what are they gonna do?
They have no power, you realize that.
All they can do is make recommendations to the council.
Well, I think it would make sense for everybody to look in the charter and see both
Yeah,
the boards.
look at your charter, look at what it says
Yeah.
about ethics, look at what it says about Citizens Review Board as a preparation of next meeting.
The ethics board member is appointed by the mayor.
It is appointed by the mayor. And my intent would be to appoint people who were elected to the Citizens Review Board.
Well, and I think if
I
we
don't
were
think neither
merging
one
these,
has to do with the other.
Well, there were three.
Neither one has to do with the other.
No,
No, I mean, if you wanna appoint someone, go ahead and appoint them.
I can appoint whoever I want, but
Wherever you
my
want. You don't
thought
have to, you don't
was,
have to appoint people that
I
ran
don't
on the
have to.
Citizens Review
I don't
Board.
have to, but I'll have the power to appoint, the council will have the power to approve.
Exactly. That's
And we
correct.
can make it nonpartisan, and if we got a Republican or whatever, we can do whatever we need to do.
And I think, Mayor, if you look at the charter, you'll see on the ethics board, there has to be an alderman, there has to be a lawyer, there has to be, it's very
There you
specific.
go.
It's very specific who you put on that ethics board.
Okay,
It tells you right in the charter,
okay.
who has to go on there.
And that's what Tony's gonna present to us next meeting.
so should we have that as part of the committee ahead of time?
We sure can.
Yeah, I mean, we could put that under the procedures.
I think every city should have an ethics board.
Legally, we're supposed to, yeah.
They
I know
do.
Sammy Dunn said
Listen, it's in the charter.
Yeah.
And it's appointed by the mayor, and if you read the charter, you'll find out that each person on that ethics board has a specific position in the city.
I think it would be important to look back at the creation of the Citizens Review Board and what the intent was, and just make sure that if there's some kind of intent on it, we can merge that into the ethics board or something. I just would hate to throw out something that was created for a reason without knowing what that reason was. But also, I understand that, people are writing in people as a joke, every election as well. So I understand that, but I don't want to
It's,
say
I
without,
look at it
I
as an
think everyone
embarrassment.
needs
That's what I look at it.
but I think everyone needs to look at
Yes,
both
they
of them
do.
before
They
we
do.
would make a
They do.
decision.
And we are making a decision. We're gonna listen to
Discuss
a
it.
discussion of why we can merge the two
Yeah.
and not have a negative impact on the city and hopefully have a positive impact. I mean, that's the discussion. We're not deciding anything.
Yeah,
It's gonna be up to the council.
right, and there'd be a public hearing
Right.
and all that too.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so I just didn't want to surprise you with that. I wanted you to know that that's being worked on, okay? Anything else? All right, thank you very much.
We'll make a motion to adjourn.
Alderwoman Quist Mars.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins. Aye. Alderman Carpenter.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
I just texted you because I'll forget in my mind.
I did, I